Viewers, welcome to the ABC Real Time Talk Show in English. And this is episode 16. Today, our points of discussion rotate around post-elect parliament elections landscape in Bangladesh. And today, we have guests from different corners around the world. And from my left, Professor Farhad Hossain. He is from Bangladesh. How are you, Professor Farhad Hossain? Farhad Hossain, you are not listening to me?
Yes, I'm watching you. Okay.
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir. You have
Thank
invited me in this prestigious show to talk about something after the
Then
election situation.
Then Rieta Rahman, she is from New York, USA, and she is
Assalamualaikum.
one of the political analysts during this time. Then we move to Barrister Zillur. He is from United Kingdom, and he's very vocal voice in the talk shows nowadays. Then Professor Dr. Saber Chowdhury is the chairman of Department of Peace and Conflict, Dhaka University. How are you, Professor Saber?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Well, now let us move to the main discussion. And I will start from Rieta Rahman. You know very well that elections took place on 7th January 2024. And central the elections, many topics, many issues, and many gossips, and many contemplation, and many things are taking place each and every moment. And mainly the formation of the minister cabinet and all the member of parliaments are already, they have taken oath and they are the member of parliament now. What are your impression about the whole scenario? Rita Rahman.
I, uh, um, I, I give my salam to everybody who is present in this program, as well as the people who are watching us. And thank you, Dr. Sinha, for having me in your program. This is kind of the question, the answer to the question is, to me, for now, it seems very cliche because everybody is talking about it. Everybody is talking about the elections, how it was conducted. There are a lot of questions, suspicions, a lot of doubts, a lot of
সড়কের মধ্যে যাবে
sorry, someone is saying something like, sorry, Dr. Sinha,
You
is it
go
okay?
on, you go on.
I continue?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So this is a very kind of very tricky situation. The election itself was not acceptable to the majority of the population, would I say, or should I say to many. Most of the majority political parties of the country, they did not accept the election the way it was conducted. And to me, as far as I can look at it, it had been done beyond constitution. Although the present ruling party and its leaders were claiming that this election was done because of the constitutional formalities, but the way it was done, it seemed very, very. It's not like it is something beyond the normal practices. The way elections are being conducted in most of the countries, it has gone beyond that, and something that is not easily conceivable. I mean, it's the election itself, the way it was conducted, and then the whole drama to it. I mean, as it appeared, because it was all Awami.League and Awami.League and Awami.League. Those who were connected or acceptable to Awami.League, they only participated. So in groups, there are like lot of logical, trying to prove that the election was done in a constitutional or in a legal way. So in order to do that, there had been a lot of supporting kind of logics that were brought up. They said participatory election means people are participating, but in that area also, it was there is a big question about the percentage of votes that were cast, and the observers, everything was like they're like the people who participated in the elections, the Awami Leaguers who later on became the independent candidates. They also complained. They complained about massive rigging. They complained about violence in the elections. I was watching Mr. Pinaki Bhattacharya's program video, and he was showing first-hand information, like showing us the interviews of the candidates themselves. They were saying how there were arsenal in the elections, how it was like twisted. So I don't know I would rather not talk about the elections. I would rather talk about the consequences relating to the elections. That is more important. Now, there is two parliament, like I was reading a statement by Mr. Rizvi Ahmed. He was saying that there are now 658 candidates, parliament members would be sitting in the parliament, because until 29th, the earlier parliament is still active. And now, after the oath was taken by the new elected members, which was done very hurriedly, for maybe there was some reason for the government to do it. So it is like a bit of a chaos. This is out of the book, and I don't know how to term this. And then the government is facing challenges from the global world, particularly the West and the USA, because two delegations now still there. They're investigating on the conduct of the elections and how everything was manifested. So they're there. So they are still working on it. And then USA and UK also did not recognize the election. They said that it was not done properly. It was not a free and fair election. They have already given a statement. Of course, there are like India and Russia and other countries also, but they have, of course, because to me, as I see it, you see, it's kind of there are global lobbyist group, there are global competitions in this world, So the India bloc, I see it from our perspective, India is an important bloc. So from India, Russia, and China, because of the globalization scenario, because Russia is now standing against USA. So this is kind of not they're supporting Bangladesh not because of the fact that they are supporting Bangladesh itself, but I think because of their global standing, they are supporting Bangladesh, because it is USA who is taking initiative on the other side. So you see, it is a global kind of a game. It is like global conflict that is like working in the scenario of our political perspectives. So, and the thing is, India has been very open in supporting this government, Sheikh Hasina government. They went all out, according to many sources. They went all out, and we have seen how India had been.
Rahman, we'll come to you because you are turning to different areas. We'll come to you. We'll talk about the whole thing.
Yes.
Well,
fine.
Barrister Zillur, you are from UK and basically you are a lawyer. And from the point of view of law and the legal implication, how do you view this parliament? First of all, there are 600 member of parliaments at a time. And today, the Minister for Law and Parliament Affairs, Mr. Anisul Haq, he has defended the present scenario in his own mood and mode. What are your interpretations?
Well, I welcome the presenter, Dr. Sinha MA Sayeed, my learned co-discussionist, and those who are listening and will be listening afterwards, and the ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. as Mr. Sinha, as you asked, as I'm the law background, as you have asked about the 12th Parliament election. If I talk about the election, I would first say that it is not at all a election. If you go through the dictionary, the law dictionary of the election, what it says, the dictionary meaning of election is, it says the choice among the alternatives. If we look toward the 12th Parliament election, you see, as per the Rieta Rahman has said, this was not the election of the competitiveness. If we go through the constitution of the Awami.League, the constitution of Awami.League in 65 sub-clause 2, where it says that only one candidate will be nominated. There should not be any dummy candidate or any independent candidate. Whereas the chairperson of Awami.League, she nominated the dummy candidate and also the independent candidate. If we go through the constitution of Jatiya Party, where it says the section 11.5, where it says the parliamentary committee of the Jatiya Party, they will nominate only one candidate. Whereas in the banner of the Jatiya Party, we see they have written that they have been nominated by the Jatiya Party and supported by the Awami.League. So you see the look now, both Awami.League and the Jatiya Party, their constitution, they are violating the constitution. If we come to the election commission, where the people's the representation of People's Order 1972, where it also violated the section 11, 16 as well as 20. If we also see the National Election Conduct Rules 2008, the section 14, where it says the Prime Minister and the opposition party leader, they can't do both the activities at a time, like the official activities as well as the election campaign. But what we find, the Sheikh Hasina being on the chair of Prime Minister, and almost all of his election campaign, he did it from Gana Bhavan. And the same thing also, General GM Ershad also did the same thing. And if you also come to the constitution aspect, this is a complete violation of Article 7A, Article 11, Article 65, subclause 2, and also Article 148. In Article 11, it says the political administration and the political leader, they will be nominated, or they will be selected, or they will be elected by the popular vote, and they must precede over the civil and the military administration. But what we have found for the last 10 parliamentary election, 11 parliamentary election, even the 12 parliamentary election, we have seen the army and the police and the administration did the election. So it seems the MP are being nominated or being selected or being elected by the police and the military. So if the MPs are being selected or elected or nominated by the police and the military, so how come the MP will get the precedence over the civil and military administration? And that strictly violates the Article 11 of Bangladesh Constitution. And now, if we come to the Article 65, subclause 2, it says that the vote will be conducted through the direct vote. So only the Awami.League and the other party, which is supported by also Awami.League, they did the election. They conducted the election. So the election was never being from the direct vote, which also violated the Article 65. 2 of the Constitution. If we go through the Article 148, this is the oath taking. All the election commissioners and the chief election commissioner, they took oath under the 148 and Schedule 5, what they said that we will not take any decision, and we will all the time we will take the decision impartial, and that decision will not go on favor of any of the political parties. But for the last 2 years, what we have found, the election commission, including the chief election commission, they took all the decision, if not 100%, 99.99%, their decision were in favor of the Awami.League. So it also violated the Article 148 of the Constitution. And now, if you see the role of the army commander, especially the army chief, police chief, BGB chief, the RAF chief, and the concerned home secretary, and the other secretary, and also those who are involved with the conducting the election, the SP, DC, DIG, and the divisional commissioner. They also violated the Article 7A 1B, where it clearly states that if you violate the Constitution, or if you does any acts which goes against the Constitution, that also you violates the Article 7A 1B. So in case of the army chief, the police chief, and all other different chiefs, they also violated the Article 7A 1B of the Constitution. And now, if we the Awami.League is saying that this is a election. If we again consider that if it is a election, they are also not violating their own made constitution. They are not abiding by their own made constitution. You see, at the moment now there are 648 MPs. At a time, simultaneously, there are two cabinets, even the two prime ministers. The prime minister herself has not resigned. The prime minister and her cabinet has not resigned. And again, they have taken the oath, and they are giving the self-explanation. They are giving the self-explanation on the prime minister has taken oath, the minister has taken the oath, the earlier cabinet has been dissolved. And this is a false statement, this is a fabricated statement, and this is a wrong statement. If we go through our Article 57 and 58 of the Constitution, it says that any of the minister has to resign themselves, or the prime minister will request them to resign, or the prime minister has to request the president to dissolve the parliament. As such, the prime minister will automatically resign, and her cabinet will resign. Then the prime minister will oath the new ministers, and the minister will continue. But the fact is, still they have not dissolved their parliament. Still the 11th parliament. If we look through our Constitution 72 subclause 3, where it says that any of the parliament, when it starts, then it will continue up to 5 years. So in that case, 29 January 2024, our 11th parliament will end in 29 January 2024. However, in Article 123 subclause 3A, it says that if a parliament is dissolved, or if when the parliament will ends before the 90 days, the election will be conducted. As such, Article 123 subclause 3A, the election has been conducted, and also Article 148 subclause 2A, where it says if an MP has been elected, within 3 days he has to take an oath. So if we combine these Article 72, Article 123, and Article 148, so the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has to request the President to dissolve the Parliament. As such, afterwards, the other MPs within the 3 days, they can take the oath. But what it happened that there are two parliament that is parallelly running, and now they are saying and they are giving the wrong explanation that this parliament will sit on 30th January and 11th parliament will dissolve 29th January. You see, they are saying that they are going as per the constitution. But what the election has conducted, that election has not been conducted as per constitution. If for the argument, if we say that the election has been conducted as per constitution, but even though after the election they are not also follow as per the constitution. So what I suggested in a different talk show, that what the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina can do, he has appointed probably five or six advisors. I requested Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to dismiss the law minister, because the law minister is giving the wrong explanation and he is spoiling the whole show. So what the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina can do, she can appoint me as advisor for the time being, and if she doesn't appoint me as the advisor for the time being, but if he hears my advice, what she can do, she can dissolve the constitution, because Sheikh Hasina does not need any constitution, because Sheikh Hasina is saying that they are following the Westminster parliamentary system. But in the Westminster, I just take half minute. But the Westminster parliamentary system, the British, the United Kingdom, they don't have the written constitution. So if Sheikh Hasina dissolve the constitution, in that case, you, me, and the Rieta Rahman and the others will not be able to criticize that Sheikh Hasina is not doing anything as per the constitution. So whatever thing Sheikh Hasina will utter by his mouth, that will work as a constitution, and his rubber stamp parliament will act as the moving constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Zillur. You spoke very well, and you try to level best to pinpoint everything, especially you touched at each and every point of the constitution related to the parliament election. It is a wonderful discussion in all the layers. Well, Professor Dr. Saber Chowdhury, you listen to Rieta Rahman and Barrister Zillur. Both of them spoke from their own standpoints. What are your analyses? Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha and the other distinguished panel members. The thing is, for a long time, this discussion is going on. And the main thing before the election as well, to ensure pluralism and the participation of different political parties in the election. And the thing is, the ruling party at the time, they don't ensure this kind of things, and the demand of different global players and the different communities from home and abroad, their demand for free, fair, and participatory election. So after the election, from different corners, the thing is, the government at this moment is facing some sort of disturbance, difficulties, or you may say challenges. The economic challenges, different sort of corners, and the economic situation of the country is not stable, and the economics are giving their analysis. And the other thing, they are not at this moment, but maybe in the coming days they will have to face the different sort of challenges from political parties and other sort of stakeholders in the in different sort of movements. But the thing is, in this election, a new kind of approach what the ruling party has come up with, especially the introducing of independent candidate, which is popularly uttered as the dummy candidate. And frankly speaking, the situation in the local areas is not good at all, because in the local scenarios, uh, the different members, those who are participating in the elections, so they have different groups and subgroups. So when you are competing from the same party, in many areas we found that different political activists, those who are involved for the activities earlier, they didn't work for the candidates, those who were nominated by the by Bangladesh Awami League. And the independent candidate, they were also facing confrontation. So the consequences in everyday's newspapers and from other sources we are getting that it is deteriorating day by day. And now the Bangladesh Awami League, they are thinking to send their central leaders in different local areas to deal with the situation, because it is not that good, and in the coming days it will be more volatile. And the thing is, if in real sense we are not sure when there will be a real participatory and free fair election, if this is the situation, it would be very difficult for the present government to deal with other forces, because these sort of fractions and this sort of disinvolvement of different people and in one party is very important. For instance, few decades back in Kumilla, in the especially the Kumilla Shodor, where Mr. Afzal and Mr. Bahar, they were confronting with each other, and at that time the Bangladesh National Party, their candidate did not face any sort of difficulties in winning elections. And it was like something they were saying that as long as Bahar and Mr. Afzal was confronting each other, so other candidates didn't need to do anything. So they will get the opportunity to win the election very easily. So this kind of situation they have to face in the coming days. And the most important things, how the ruling party is going to uh, face this kind of situations. And the thing is, the global players, we all know, and it is already discussed that their standpoint, government is trying to show that they are very trying to build up some sort of um, good relationship with them and giving statements, but we are not listening anything from the from USA or Canada, Australia, or other uh, important members, and they are very much not giving any sort of views after their comments on this present election. So this is the situation at this moment, and the thing is, we are very much thinking and worried. So how far these challenges could be tackled by the present government, and we are very much thinking and aware that the situation of the general people, uh, it is our utmost prayer that they will not gonna to face any sort of difficulties in dealing with their daily activities, especially in dealing with financial and economic sectors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sabbi. Well, viewers, we are seeing Professor Dr. Kalimullah. He has joined by this time. Well, Mr. Kalimullah, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
Well, I'll come to you. Before that, I asked Professor Farhad Hossain, you listen
Okay,
very carefully. These speakers
go ahead.
spoke from the point, and they have defined, analyzed, and expressed their opinions about the post-election scenario in Bangladesh. And being a member of Awami.League, what the defenses you have at this moment in hand, Professor Farhad Hossain. Not working. Internet working.
Okay. I have been linked up from my hometown, and I'm sitting in the Baranda right now. I'm not in Dhaka city. And even though you have invited me, and I am here today to participate in this show, thing is that Barrister Zillur Rahman has narrated the constitution according to the spirit of the election. But thing is that there are so many constitutional experts related to Awami League. They know exactly how this election has been exactly equipped with the constitutions. If this election has violated the constitution, there are so many persons, particularly from the legal area, they can from Awami League, they can exactly do something to make the election fit according to the constitution. And one thing that is very important, Barrister Zillur Rahman is frequently narrating constitutions in talk show, but we are not the legal person. I passed law. I exactly conducted the examination of law and I succeeded to have a degree, but I am not a practicing lawyer. But the frequent explanation, frequent quotations, frequent comments from the Constitution in talk show particularly creates a certain kind of impediment for the persons who are out of the practice of law. That is a problem. One thing that is very important, we are getting comments from national level and international level on the election of 2024. But the thing is that I would like to tell one thing. Yes, it has been said that election might not be happened, election might not be conducted, the government will not be able to conduct the election commission will not be able to conduct the election. But even though election has been conducted, election has been done, the government has been formed, and already the government, the government exactly has taken oath and already started their function. So what will be the situation in the coming days? Exactly, we cannot make the prediction right now. And you know that the country, the mightiest nation of the world, the United States of America, has already made some impediments through the commands from the persons from the State Department or different persons in different capacities in diplomatic level, even though election has been held. And Mr. Peter has already met the foreign minister of Bangladesh and exactly felicitated the election. Now, the BNP, one of the largest political parties of Bangladesh, did not participate in the election. My point is clear here. One particular party or some other party will not participate in the election. It does not mean the election has not been participatory. Election must be held according to the constitution. The government has some obligation to conduct the election. The election commission has the obligation to conduct the election in time. So election has been held. Now what will be happen and whether the election will be legitimate or not legitimate, it might be decided by the court. If anybody has got some objection, particularly on the legitimacy of the election, that he or they can go to the court exactly to get the discretion on the election. But election has held, the government has taken the oath and the cabinet has been formed. The government is executing their duties in their administrative level. So everything is okay. But thing is that defense is that the 42% vote had been casted in the election. Okay, it is the ultimate report of the election commission, and 42% vote has been casted. It in the early morning, the election commissioner, or the first hour of the day of the day in the election, it was 27% election vote has been casted. Yes, all right, 27% is enough. And now in the later part of the day, it was 42% votes have been casted. Fine, it's all right. Now let me ask the question: how much percent? What was the percentage of casting vote in the United States of America? I'd like to know this. Their percentage of casting election is not satisfactory at all, and the people of the United States of America are not willing exactly to go to the polls to cast their election. Even in the election day, all the offices are open. The officers and the workers are bound to go to their office, and by this time, in this mid of their work, they have to go to the election polls and cast their vote. Their percentage of casting vote is not as healthy as any other Asian countries, but the United States of America does not feel any hesitation to make the comment on the election of any country if it is not exactly in the pattern of their satisfaction. And that is a question. So the government is committed and determined to continue their tenure next 5 years. And I'm not worried at all. As one of the members of the ruling party, I'm not worried at all. I fervently believe and I'm confident that this government will be able to complete their tenure in the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Farhad Hossain. Well, Professor Kalimullah, you listened to most of the speakers, and you were also in the field of election as an observer. Everybody knows very well that you are talking every day to in different talk shows, giving different data, views to where to home and abroad. And as of now, what is your latest analysis? Please, Professor Kalimullah.
Well, as far as we are concerned, we are closely watching the scenario. I mean, the post-election phase. I mean, our colleagues from abroad, EU election experts, Commonwealth election experts, and IRI and NDI bipartisan election experts, they are also doing the same. It's a continuous process. Pre-election, election day, and post-election phase. And you cannot come up with any comment after completion or before completion of this whole process. That's why you found that United States of America's State Department has come up with an interim statement immediately after the election was over. On 8th of January, around 2 a.m. in Dhaka time, they came up with a statement, and there they stated that, according to them, the election was not free and fair. And the same sentiment was echoed by the Britishers and their partners from Australia, Canada. And Joseph Borrell's office has come up with a statement too. So After the assessment is over, I'm sure in the beginning of February, all the actors who were involved in assessing the election, they will forward their findings to the respective authorities so that the authorities can come up with appropriate measures. And till then, we'll have to wait and see what happens. One thing is clear from the diplomatic outposts in Dhaka with reference to the United States of America, United Kingdom, and Canada, that all these countries, they didn't send any observer to observe the elections. Those individual US, UK, and Canadian nationals claimed themselves as observers are private individuals. I would term them as most probably election tourists. You know, we have academic tourists, election tourists are kind of that type of people. And nothing wrong in that. You know, as an amateur, you have every right to do kind of on-the-job training with reference to election observation, especially if it's quite handy. Lodging and food is available, other logistic support is available, hospitality is there. So you just come up with a travel grant from any source and come and see what is happening here on the ground. But these are not professional gestures, I'm afraid. So, I mean, this is what I can say with reference to so-called foreign observers who interacted here with the local media and came up with press briefings and things like that immediately after the election was over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kalimullah. Well, we are going to the second phase, and we have started from Rieta Rahman. Again, I am going to house. Rieta Rahman, in the first phase, you talked less because I did not allow more time. This time, you will have 10 minutes, and other will have the 8 minutes. Rieta Rahman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. Dr. Sinha Sayeed, you're very kind, but I don't need 10 minutes. I can finish. I don't have much to say because our very knowledgeable and very, what would I say, the people of the panel, they're more abreast of what is going on in the political scenario. So I wouldn't need that much time. But I was, I felt bad because you interrupted me. You should, Dr. Sinha, I would request you to at least let us finish our sentences before if you cut us off. So actually, yeah, I've been hearing Dr. Zillur, and he has come up with very concrete circumstances regarding vis-a-vis with the constitution of a country. So this is a constitution, and these are the provisions. These contradicts this held. So these are the realities. People need to answer to his the questions he raised, and this is one thing. And as you know that I belong to BNP, I do BNP. I'm a member of the BNP, the opposition political party, and I also contested from BNP in the 2018 elections. So naturally, from my side, how I see the election, I see the election as a farcical election. It was just a makeup to continue or renew the tenure or the power of the present government. And I see that there are global interest in keeping Sheikh Hasina in power. Global meaning foreign interest. particularly India has a lot of interest in keeping Sheikh Hasina, because India is getting a lot of benefits from this government. Because Sheikh Hasina herself said once that the India will always remember what I have given to them. And I see that Sheikh Hasina also bows her head to India, because what India has given her, the long tenure, which had made history. Because I don't see that Sheikh Hasina or Awami.League is that popular in the country. If you look at the present circumstances, look at the market situation, the prices of essential goods. I was going through a video where they were showing people are buying the scales, the bones of fish now. They can't afford to buy fish anymore. So they're buying bones. So do we realize where we stand today? Where the situation is taking us? We are seeing a lot of glorious, very colorful things, like as if there is no issue. There is no economic problem. People are so happy because of the roads that were made, because of the kind of development, which has a lot of other interpretations. The development, if the development interprets into corruption, so you have to think twice. See, life, we cannot be so partisan. We cannot go on national interest. So you see, we are not thinking about our country or people, because the government is not a government unless they bear the responsibility to run the country in the interest of the larger, the whole population of the country. So where are we? Are we thinking about the people, or just challenging each other? Like Awami.League always, even Sheikh Hasina, whenever she speaks, she's criticizing BNP. She's not talking about the country, the development, the crisis, how people are suffering. What about the education curriculum that is under question now? People are talking about the curriculum because it's in the school. You can say that this is beyond our topic today. But these are the issues confronting the government, not only the government, the whole country, the intelligentsia, the conscious citizen, conscious population of the country. So we have to take into consideration all these issues. Everything is connected, Mr. Sinha. Nothing is like out of the way. These all concerns us. Where are we standing today? Who are we? Who is controlling us today? Why are we trying to trying to prove that everything is going well? We are doing everything constitutional. We're trying to makeshift evidences, bring up makeshift evidences to prove that we are in the right track. We're doing everything right. Everything is being twisted. The real thing, the actual scenario, the situation is not being depicted, not by the media, because everything has been made politicized. Everything is politicized and partisanized. Nothing is neutral. No one is talking about the national interest. No one is talking about the people, how they are suffering, how they are living. What about the member of the BNP, the grassroots members? There are 50,000 people. There are cases against 100,000 member of the BNP leaders and workers. They are the citizen of the country. They have a right. They can't go to the court. The court has been made partisan, politicized. So do you realize, Mr. Sinha, or our panel, do you realize where we are standing today? We can't express ourselves. People, since October 28th, the member of the BNP, workers and members, they can't stay in their home. They have to run away. They've been harassed, they've been charged, they've been tortured by the ruling party and the police. Police is known by the BNP people or the oppositions as the hooligan of the ruling party. They're teaming up with League, Chowdhury, Saber League, and the other leagues, and they're trying to strike them. They're extorting them. So this is a situation, and the post-election, the election, What is the election going to do? Just extending the power of Sheikh Hasina, because India wants her to be in the power. Thank you. This is what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Barrister Zillur Rahman. It is in the air that the political process and political stability, everything we talked about, is nothing but a game between America and India. How do you analyze this, please?
Dr. Sinha MA Sayeed. As my earlier panelists discussed many of the issues, especially the panelist from Awami League, the Mr. Farhad, he very comfortably tell that election is done, government is formed, government is functioning, and they will function till the next 5 years. But my talk show is a different talk show. I also had a talk show with you as well as Mr. Farhad many times, and I said that if Sheikh Hasina wants to remain in power, she has the option. She had the option in a different way, because doing this fake election, it has costed much. Because if you see the law enforcement agency, the budget is 1,600 crore, and if you see the report of the TIB yesterday, and they gave the explanation and expenses that each candidate almost they spended 1.5 to 2 crore taka. So if there is a 2,000 candidate, so the expenses is 4,000 crore. As well as if you find the expenses of the election commission, the military, and the others, then again the expenses will be more 2,000 crore. So if we all together, it is almost 8 to 10,000 crore. So do a fake election and to remain in power and continue the power, this 10,000 crore taka is not the taka of Sheikh Hasina. This is not the taka of Awami League. This is not his paternal property. So what she could do, she had the 2/3 majority in 11th Parliament. So under the Article 142, she could make the constitutional amendment, and she could remain in power for the next 5 years, even for the next 50 years. But he has spent the 10,000 crore taka. This taka is the tax from Sinha MA Sayeed, from you, from me, from the constable of the Bangladesh Army, and she is doing what not. Now you as you ask, this is a game of America and India. Yes, I do believe this is a game of India and America, and I am apprehending whether this country will be like the Sikkim or not. If you go to the history, the Sikkim for the 350 years, they were the independent country. They were not under the colony of the British. And in the 1978, Lendub Dorji, he was for the powers for 11 years, and he opted to become the Union of India. So a country having 328 years independent, they were not under the India. They were not under the British. But you see the leader, he has opted to become the Union of India, and he became in 1978. He became the Sikkim become the 28th state of India. If you go to the Kashmir,
in 1974. In 1974.
Okay. Anyway, in 1974, if you go to the Kashmir king and his son signed a universal declaration, and for which the Modi repealed the Article 370 of the Constitution, and they withdraw their sovereignty of the Kashmir. And when the political leader went to the court, and the court gave the decision that the universal declaration of his son that gave the more power and the verdict, and the court finally gave the decision. What the decision has taken the Modi, that is correct, and that is as per the constitution. If you go to the Ukraine, the state of Crimea, they have the Crimea parliament have the 2/3 majority. Those who are the Russian based, and they amended the parliament, and they opted to become with Russia. And when they amended the constitution, within 48 hours or 72 hours, the Russian invaded the Crimea and they captured. So I am apprehending whether our country is going towards that direction or not. Now, as the Mr. Farhad said, that election has gone, election has done, government has formed, and government is functioning, and they will be staying for 5 years. But what will happen with the democratic institution? If you see the military has become even the below answer, because you see the 57 soldiers were killed. From the military as an institution, they could not do anything else. You see that after that incident, hundreds of the military senior officers were dismissed because of the protest. If you go to the election 2014, okay. Anyway, I find, or you will debate. This is not the function of the military. Fine, in the 2014, this is not the function of the military. What about the 2018? What the General Aziz did and what the General Aziz said? If you come to the election 2024, General Shabiuddin, what he said? He said exactly what General Aziz has said, because the military has no power to say anything against Sheikh Hasina, against India. Come to the police. What the police is doing? If the Sheikh Hasina continue for the next 5 years, police will be more aggressive. If you come to the judiciary, you see the High Court judge. They are issuing the contempt rule against the VP Noor, against the advocate Mohsin Rashid, advocate Mujibullah Chunnu, whereas they are not giving any bail to the Mirza Fakhrul. Have you seen Sinha MA Sayeed? Yesterday or the day before yesterday, the Prof and the Man of Jamin, they have published what they have said in the High Court division, and they refusing the bail of Mirza Fakhrul. They said that in the name of establishing voting right, Mirza Fakhrul and his team making this country as a Jahannam. He has written in his judgment that in establishing the voting right, Mirza Fakhrul and his team making this country as a Jahannam. And he also uttered the word that the Chief Justice is the part of the three organ. So these offense may turn into a state conspiracy in Bangla Rashtrodrohitar Aparadh. But as far as he is concerned, as far as the law is concerned, if any state conspiracy or the Rashtriya Aparadh, other than the government cannot initiate any case. Even the judge that to justice, even he doesn't know that he has no capacity to issue any state conspiracy. And he is so interested if the election could be free and fair since 2014. Mirza Fakhrul could be the senior minister in absence of Begum Zia and Tariq Rahman. He can be the prime minister. And this kind of senior leader, the High Court judge is refusing his bail and giving the stigma, which the stigma is not accepted by anybody else. So you see the last three election commission, 2014, 2018, and 2024. There are three chief justices are directly involved. ABM Khairullah, violating the CPC, Civil Procedure Code, section 152. The open court, the pronounced judgment, he cannot change. And he changed after 16 months. And thereby, they repealed the Constitution 13th Amendment. And they inserted the 15th Amendment. But the ABM Khairul Haq did not utter any word that the Awami League government or the parliament is using his name. Then come to the 2014 and 2018 Election Commission. Justice Mahmood Hossain, when he was the High Court judge, he was told by the Awami League that you will just act a drama, and the name which will place, you will select all those names. And thereby 2014, Rokeya Commission was formed. And he was told that he will be given promotion to the appellate division. When he went to the appellate division, then again he was made the chief of the search committee. Again, he appointed the Rule Commission in 2018, and thereby he was told that he will be promoted to become the Chief Justice, and he was made the Chief Justice. At present, the Chief Justice Obaidul Hassan, when he was the Justice of the Appellate Division, he selected Habibullah Commission. No political party has proposed the name of the Habibullah. As per the Awami League Awami League has enacted the law, the Election Commissioner Appointment Rules 2022, whereas it is clearly says that any commissioner has to be appointed, the name has to come from a political party. Habibullah's name has not been proposed by any of the political party. Only that Dr. Zafrullah has proposed his name, but Dr. Zafrullah belongs to any political party. He is the owner of a political party. So how come the Obaidul Hassan? That means from the Awami League to Obaidul Hassan, it was told he will act the drama and he will be made the Chief Justice. So if it continues for the Sheikh Hasina for the next 5 years, even 10 years, if she wants to stay in power, we don't have any problem. But you give the justice. You are spoiling the police, you are spoiling the army, you are spoiling the judiciary, you are spoiling the bureaucracy, you are spoiling everything. If you want to remain in power, no problem. Dr. MA Sayeed, he has the constitutional amendment, he has the 2/3 majority. He can amend the constitution and he can say he will remain in power till his death. No problem. But you are spoiling the money, and this money is not yours. This money is not your paternal property. So, and then the last point is, you see around the India, Maldives, where the population is only 6 lakh. The Bhutan, the population is only 8 lakh. So the Maldives, if they can deny India, if the Bhutan, they can deny India, Nepal, they can deny India, Sri Lanka, they can deny India, Pakistan, they can deny India, Afghanistan, they can deny India. Why not Bangladesh? The caretaker government is a settled issue. If it happens in 2014, if BNP could come in power in 2018, Awami League could come in power. So this is the democracy. One will be in power, one will be opposition party. But you want to stay in power, spoiling the whole democratic institution. And if it happens after the assessment of the NDI, IRI, European Union, United Nations assessment, if the sanction comes, who will suffer? Who is going to suffer? Sheikh Hasina will not suffer. Sheikh Hasina is a the gang. They will not suffer because they are the owner of the billions of money. Because the last week, you see the CPD, they have a research and they said for the last 15 years, 92 lakhs crore has been looted by this political gang, and 150 lakh crore that has been vended loan. So if we sum up, that becomes 200. Okay,
I will come to you again. Dr. Sapi, you listen to Barrister Zillur. He made a very fiery speech about the whole thing, and he believes what he believes. He utters all these things. Right or wrong, it is different thing, different issues. What is your understanding about the challenge, dilemmas, and opportunities of the government people in front of the government?
Uh, Thank you. So already we have discussed a lot about the scenarios and the different challenges. If we really analyze in the economic scenario, economic world, the most important thing, if I would like to say, the very alarming one, the collection of taxes and other things. So nowadays we are getting different sort of information that the collection of taxes and these revenues is not that satisfactory, and the government is now facing that it's the month of January, and the thing is another very important concern is the completion of projects of this fiscal year. It is now in the mid-level, so government and the new ministers, they're facing a lot of pressure to finish those projects within few months. And the thing is, as well as different ministries and the finance ministry, they need to take preparation for the next budget as well. But the thing is, what different economists and we are discussing for a long time, the dollar crisis. And everyone of us, we know that the number of illnesses are in a minimal stage and in decreasing day by day for the this kind of dollar crisis. And that's why the prices of the goods, and it is already out of the reach of the general people. And every day in a different sort of discussions of them, they're pointing out these things, that how they're dealing with these things, because most of the people are living with fixed income. And the thing is, here we also that there is no balance in the payment of foreign exchange for these kind of things. And government is also facing some sort of problem in dealing with the inflation. Inflation is increasing day by day, and recently we find out that they increase the interest rate to control this kind of inflation. And obviously, the FDI, the foreign direct investment, and the foreign investment from different countries, because relationship is matters. Relationship is matters. So when this is the case, this government is struggling to having support from some global players. It obviously have some sort of impact on the foreign investment. So when this is the situation, what will be the scenario in the coming days? We easily can assume, and this kind of things we are not sure what government is thinking and what kind of planning they are prepared to deal with this. So every time we're also worried about the situation of the general people, and the situation of people like us who are just living under a fixed income. The thing is, the other way, in the global scenario, we are just observing that for the last few years, especially, most of the countries, they're giving importance in the people to people contact. So in this case, maybe the government is getting some sort of support from India, China, or some other countries. But regarding the people-to-people contact with the people of this country and our country, it matters. So different government, they need to also understand the pulse of the general people. And in different statements, United States of America, Canada, UK, these global powers, they also uttered that they are very much willing to have this people-to-people contact, but they are not sure about what will happen in regarding their some sort of dealing with activities of the government. So we are waiting to how the government is dealing with these challenges, and this is the demand of the time. Otherwise, if this is the situation and some sort of embargo, especially the economic embargo, will come from the Western countries, it matters. And we understand that the main export oriented things is the garments and the other things. So India and China mostly they are the they are investing. So when generating income matters, and having getting dollars of foreign exchange, when we are dealing with this kind of things, it matters. So if this is the situation, we are very much willing to see how the new ministers they deal with these things and deal with the current political situation of the country as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sabbir Chowdhury. Now I turn to Professor Farhad Hossain. Professor Farhad Hossain, being a member of Awami League, you have a big role here because all the expressions more or less are against Awami League. And all the persons in the talk show, they have they are really worried about what is going to take place in the future. And Awami League is now confronted with so many challenges, dilemmas, and opportunities. And what is your understanding? Awami League shall be in a position to work on all these things and feel stability in the country in all sectors. Professor Farhad Hossain.
Thank you, Sinabai. You have given me another chance to speak about something. I'd like to tell something about the speech of Barrister Zillur Rahman. He has given an inflammatory speech raising his voice, blaming the government's policies and present government's actions. But I would be very happy if I would see that Barrister Zillur Rahman uh, uh, would he would talk something about the election that was held, particularly conducted by Ziaur Rahman. When he was a government servant, he was taking the salary from the government treasury and conducted the election and exactly command the support of the people. Being a government servant, being a high official being the commander in chief of Bangladesh Army, he was a government servant. But he exactly introduced a ridiculous election of yes vote and no vote. It was two, that two still boxes were set up on the table, and one box exactly was identified with no vote, and another box was identified with yes vote. That was the ridiculous vote. But Barrister Zillur Rahman did not mention anything at all, which exactly created a certain kind of jeopardizing situation, particularly in the political field of Bangladesh. And this, through this sort of election, exactly, which was followed by General Ershad, created a paralyzing situation in the normal course of politics in Bangladesh. And not only that, the civil politicians had been marginalized exactly for the appearance of undemocratic and unconstitutional figures in politics. But Barrister Zillur Rahman did not mention anything. He has given the reference of India. He has given the reference of India. May I ask the question, did Indian people come to cast their vote in the pools of Bangladesh? No, I did not find any Indian personnel exactly to cast their vote and to make influence on the election commission. And you know that if America exactly intervening the election of Bangladesh, commenting on the election of Bangladesh, remaining remaining 10,000 miles away. India is a neighboring country, India is a neighboring country. and China is also a neighboring country, not like India, but neighboring countries, they can exactly make the comment, because in connection of geopolitical matter, they have got some position exactly to oversee the election or the condition of the election. But why America is taking exactly so concerned about our election, I don't know. Yes, there are much talks about the election of 2014 and 2018. But the United States of America, we did not find in this role, as they are making comment on the election of 2024. Now, why America is making comment and taking so concern about the election that has been held on 7th January? That is a question. It is completely a geopolitical matter. It is completely a geopolitical matter. So, since there is an issue of geopolitical matter has come to the scenario of the politics of Bangladesh, India and China cannot exactly stand idle. They have got some voice. They should have some voice exactly to create a certain kind of prevention of the American usurper situation, particularly handling the politics of Asia. And you know that already, already Burma Act has been failed by the United States of America. So it is an utter disappointment of the United States of America exactly to see the failure of the Burma Act. This is a very important factor. You know that there are rebellious groups in Burma. You know, all rebellious groups are being controlled by China. And it was this. It was also the subject matter of the utter frustration of the United States of America. It was the target of the United States of America to make a control on Burma, exactly to create a blockade before China. But thing is that China is a force which right now cannot be controlled by any sort of intervention of the United States of America. It is the target of the United States of America to make the control on Indian Ocean, on Bay of Bengal. I think that if it is so, if America extends their hand to make the control on these two vast vessels of water, you know that China and India would not stand exactly still. They would exactly continue their influence exactly to make a defensive measure against the ill influence of the United States of America in Asia. And now election, election is a thing. Election is a process, exactly, which cannot be stopped. BNP has been repeatedly requested to come to the election, and the doors were open exactly for the discussion. But the BNP was always in a declining position to attend any sort of discussion to pave the way exactly to continue to conduct a free and fair election. The BNP was rigid. It was the habit of BNP exactly to decline the election. It is not the new matter, or it is not the new record of BNP. They have got the record of like this. So one particular party is not coming to the election. It does not mean the election must not be held. Election must be held. Election has been held. The government has been sown, and it will be continued with full swing, with full capacity, and diversified functions in the coming in the coming days to complete the next 5-year tenures. Once again, I'd like to say thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Farhad Hossain. I do not find Professor Kalimullah. I think he has gone somewhere else. Well, now I again request Rieta Rahman to 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Your last comments, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha. I could see that Farhad Hossain, the respected Farhad Hossain, had been speaking about global politics. Yes, the global interest in Bangladesh. Yes, I agree with you. Bangladesh has not suddenly had become a core of a lot of global interest because of its proximity with Myanmar, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, and all that. So yeah, global politics is very important. How because as we know that Bangladesh's economy is at least how would I say, 90% is dependent on trading and other economic activities. So we know that why USA is so important for Bangladesh, because 80% of our economy, particularly our government sector and other tradings, depends on USA and the West. So, and of course, the Rohingya refugees that we have, the total cost is being borne by US, as we all know. So we have to understand in realistic term why America is important for Bangladesh. We cannot fight America, because if we are dependent on somebody, because there is a very common saying, people say, a beggar cannot be a chooser. Or what are we doing? We are trying to fight America when they're coming up with an opinion. Your friend or your trading partners or development partners can always have their opinion. China, vis-a-vis, China's position, I think China is never with India. They are they are rival groups, they're rival countries. They are never with each other. Their stand in Bangladesh comes in commonality, maybe because of USA. Because USA, strategically, they are against socialism, communism. So they oppose China. They oppose China's existence in South Asia. So India is being prioritized by the West and the USA. Okay, so the thing is, I don't think, in terms of Chinese investment, if we are realistic, we can see that how much China has invested. China is the second lowest investment China has done in Bangladesh. You know, even after Russia has invested more than what China has invested. This is very interesting. If we go through the statistic, we can see. So, you know, this is the global politics is the geopolitical circumstances are very tricky, very interesting. And America, of course, India has a lot of influence, can influence the West, because the West is dependent on India for containing China. So we have to understand that. I don't want to take much time, but there are a lot to say, because it's not easy to explain the circumstances, the political circumstances. All I'm interested in is the country's proper democratic circumstances. Because there is no democracy. If you come to opposition, I mean, in terms of people's right to speak, express themselves, there is nothing. You know, I just heard that the government has filed a case against Hossain, the YouTuber. He's a journalist too. He's very vocal. They have filed a digital case against him because he's vocal. He's expressing himself. So see, even if you're abroad, you are not spared. No one in the country, living in the country, even I think Dr. Sinha and others who are speaking from the country, they are not safe. If I say something offensive against the government in your program, you might be charged. So you see the situation, there is no democratic right, no human rights. It's the government, they can do and undo. They're very desperate. No one can fight them because they have taken control over the judiciary, everything. And they have a very powerful friend or sponsor who are supporting them, who are adamant to keep them in power because of their economic and their other interests vis-a-vis the geopolitical interests, because they have these 7 sisters who are fighting for their independence too. I mean, 7 provinces who are very in proximity with Bangladesh, closer to Bangladesh than the Indian mainland. So these are all factors that comes into consideration if you want to really judge it. But what we are concerned about is our rights and the sovereignty and the freedom and the democratic rights of the country. And we must have a proper democratic system. This is no election. BNP, it's not BNP only. The way election was done, it is a boomerang. It is going to come back on the Awami.League itself. You'll see that. We'll see in time how it is going to boomerang on the government and the Awami.League. This is going to happen because this is, every action has its equal and opposite reactions. So it is going to happen. We are just waiting to see that. And I appeal to everybody to think about the country, its people, its populations, its needs, and the crisis that we need to meet up. We have to face the economy. I mean, people are really suffering in our country. So we have to go above our partisan divisions and think about national interests and think about how to recooperate everything that is going wrong in the country. I would appeal to everybody for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rieta Rahman. Now I turn to Professor Dr. Saber Chowdhury. What is your final understanding about the species? Yes.
Yes, in these discussions, the tensions, the requirement, and the challenges we are facing. So this is very important and come up with. And I think the government is this is the time to ensure the political participation of other parties. And in regarding the human rights, in real sense, the government, it is the responsibility of them to uphold human rights. And if you don't guarantee the rule of law and you are, using law as the tools to oppress others, it would not bring a positive outcome in the governance, and it will be very difficult situation in one point. So political space is very important, and if there will be this kind of free space and people, it is the right of the people to ensure their representation in the governance and in the governing system. So in this way, if it will not be dealt with proper attention and within the proper process, then maybe the country will face the other side of the different sort of crimes, the terrorist activities, and still we are dealing with some other problems. And maybe it when the government is also dealing with the Rohingya problems and some other things, so if these are not dealt properly, maybe some other actors will take this opportunity, and the government will fall in trouble, and which will be a question mark to the sovereignty of the state as well. So this is the time to handle with these things in strategically, and try to ensure the representation of the people in different ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Saber. You spoke very well, finally. And now I turn to Barrister Zillur Rahman. And before that, I would like to remind you that after this speech, I will give 3 minutes time to Farhad Hossain. And for that reason, you have been given 7 minutes time. Thank you. Barrister Zillur.
Okay, Dr. Sinha MA Sayeed. This time I would like to start with Professor Saber. Professor Saber, he has uttered and he has appealed to the government to ensure the rule of law and the good governance. So for his discussion and understanding, let me share an experience from my professional experience. One of my IGP, Inspector General of Police, he was in his batch, his serial number was 17 out of 22. He was made Inspector General of Police, bypassing 16 officers. So when the turn came, one of the officer who is now Deputy Inspector General of Police at present, so he was additional SP, additional Superintendent of Police. So when his turn came to become the SP, so there was a post only 8 to 10, but his position was almost 80 or 85 out of 120. So he went to the Inspector General of Police and he said to the IGP that the post is 10 and you must include my name. Then the Inspector General of Police became annoyed and he said, your position is around 80 and the post is only 10. So this time you will not be promoted. Do you know Dr. Sinha MA Sayeed? That additional Inspector General of Police, he said to the Inspector General of Police instantly that, sir, out of 22, your position was 17, and you bypass 16 officers and you became Inspector General of Police. So why not me? And you must include my name and to promote me as a Superintendent of Police. And the Inspector General of Police has to promote him. Do you know why I have given this example? Because the last cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she has said that she will not tolerate or she will not excuse anybody doing corruption, anybody doing any illegal activities, anybody is doing any criminal activities. So my question is, he has come to the power for the last 15 years in 2014, 2018, in 2024. And the local media, social media, international media, including Khaled Mohiuddin, they have said the total vote is 2 to 3%. At best, it is a 5%. And the election commission, they are saying the vote is 41.8%. So she has become the prime minister with a fake vote, with a fake election, and now she is saying to the people that she will not excuse or tolerate those who will do the corruption or any illegal activities. So it is very difficult, Professor Saber. It is easy to say, but if you are a professor of a university, if you do any illegal, immoral activities, and if you tell your student, don't do any immoral activities, your student will not listen to your word. Your student will laugh and they will discuss among themselves that he is stupid, he is doing immoral activities, and he is advising us to not to do any immoral activities. Now coming to Professor Farhad. Professor Farhad, I know he belongs to Awami.League, and for that he has to support the Awami.League illegal work or illegal activities. But in regards to Professor Farhad, he said the number one, why I have not uttered any word, the election of Zillur Rahman in 1977 and the election of General Ershad in 1985. Yes, no vote. Okay, fine. Professor Farhad, I agree. That was a wrong approach. And for that, we came to the conclusion with the caretaker government. And in 1996, with the 13th Amendment, the caretaker government was inserted. And with that caretaker government, 1991, the election was held. 1996 election was held. 2001 election was held. 2008 election was held. Out of four election, BNP two times BNP came in power. 2 times Awami.League came in power. Now you are equating with the election in 1977 and 1985, and that's why you have gone back to the 50 years. So, Professor Farhad, if your age is 65, so do you want to go at the age of 15? If my age is 55, so should I go to the age of 50 at the age of 5? So what did happen before 50 years? So for this, in 1971, in the election of 1970, the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was given the mandate to become the Prime Minister of United Pakistan. But the Pakistan government did not hand over the power, and that's why the question of independence came. And now the Professor Farhad is equating with the Sheikh Hasina 2024 election with the election of 1977 and the 1985. So why you have dissolved the settled issues? So this is question one. And the question two, he said Indian any military or police or any Indian man did not come to conduct the election. Yes, I agree with you, Professor Farhad. I categorically told many of the talk shows There's no Indian came in Bangladesh and conduct the election. This is the army of Bangladesh Army. This is the Army Chief General Shofiuddin who spokes. This is the Inspector General of Police Abdullah Mamun who spokes. This is the Chief Justice, 3 Chief Justice. They are not from India. They are all from Bangladesh. Professor Farhad. That is the reason I am saying, if this continues, if any this undemocratic process continues, then there are more Chief Justice Obaidul Hasan, Chief Justice Mahmoud Hossain, Chief Justice ABM Khairullah will born more and more. The General Secretary of BNP Mirza Fakhrul, his bail has been refused, and the language and the contents, the judge is being writing. That is, it's a very exaggeration, and he's so excited, and he doesn't know that he can't comment whether this case is a state conspiracy or not. But he is so excited, and he wants to be so Amligar. He wants to prove that he is more a Catholic than the Pope. He wants to prove Sheikh Hasina that I am the more Amligar than you, Sheikh Hasina. So if it continues, Professor Farhad, you may remain in power, but there will be more bad people in the society, maybe in the military, maybe in the police, maybe in the judiciary, maybe in the bureaucracy. And the third point is, you said that USA has come because of their political interest, and they want to control over Indian Ocean, and they want to control the Burma. Okay, fine. We don't want to accept America. Fine. So for this, 95% people could not vote. Only the 5% people could vote, and you are saying for this, you don't want to invade. You don't want to invite the America, and that's why you are encouraging India. And thereby, do you know it might happen? The condition of the Sikkim, the condition of the Kashmir. If this goes away, if our political party are at a stake in a family, if there are two brothers, if they have no conflict, the third party, the third neighbor, whether he is influential or not, that doesn't matter. He cannot interfere. But if your two brothers, if you are not in a good position, if you are always in a quarrel, so of course the third party will come. And that's why the Awami League, the Sheikh Hasina is allowing India to interfere, to invade. Do you know the Professor Farhad, as he belongs to Awami League, do you know the country beside the neighboring country, all the country for the strategic, for the defense purpose, all the roads are horizontal. But our Bangladesh, the India compelled Sheikh Hasina to make the bordering road, all the vertical. Do you know why? Because the strategic point, the roads has to be horizontal. If any of the neighboring country attacks your country, in that case, the military, they directly don't come. So, but all our roads are vertical to the India. Do you know the Padma River and the other rivers? Who has become more happy? India has become more happy. If it requires to India to invade Bangladesh, it will take now 3 hours to go inside Dhaka. There is no barrier. So,
Zillur, please. Thank you very much. Well, Dr. Professor Farhad Hossain, what did Zillur say? You listen to him very carefully. Just you have 5 minutes. Well, Professor Farhad.
Thank you, Sinha, for giving me another floor to talk about something. And Barrister Zillur Rahman, since he was criticizing the election, and it was my expectation that he would include other elections which were conducted by the military regime in Bangladesh, but he did not go to this fact at all. And that is why I told that his discussion, his criticism was quite partial. Number one, And number two, the India, Sheikh Hasina is dealing with India. Definitely, she has exactly shown her maturity to deal with India in external affairs. I'd like to set up an example, but I'd like to take an example, particularly on this issue of corridors. It was a long undisputed issue. There are so many meetings, particularly held between the two countries, particularly headed by two prime ministers of the two countries. The meeting was held between Nehru and Liaquat Ali. The meeting was held between Nehru and Ismail Ibrahim Chandigarh. The meeting was held between Bogra Muhammad Ali and Nehru. And the meeting was held between Firuz Khan Noon and Nehru. The corridor problem was not settled down. It was Sheikh Hasina exactly who exactly brought a particular solution. And we have achieved 101 corridor. Uh, out of 151 corridors. And you know that during Sheikh Hasina's time, maritime boundary has been defined. When the question of maritime boundary was defined between India and Bangladesh, it was Prime Minister Modi that he was in a troubled position, particularly in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. He was harshly criticized on the issue of corridor, and that is why he has referred this matter to the International Court of Justice, The Hague. And by the verdict of International Court of Justice, the maritime boundary has been defined between Bangladesh and India, and even with Burma. And these are the long disputed issues which exactly dealt with Sheikh Hasina with skill and expertise to deal with external affairs with high national interest. So we have to exactly go to the fact. We should not be emotional to talk about. We have many things exactly which created a certain kind of impediment in our politics. In the past days, we could not expect the military administration will come to Bangladesh because we had to sacrifice our blood in 1971. It was 10 million people sacrificed their lives. More than 3 lakhs women are dishonored. That is why we did not expect the military would come to control the country. The military would represent exactly the people of our country. But we have to say this. This is very unfortunate. And I don't like to prolong my speech here. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sinabai.
Thank you very much, Professor
Good night.
Prof.
Good
Well,
night.
Kalimullah again joined. So before concluding the talk shows, I would like to take resort to the sweet speech of Professor Kalimullah.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Enco. In fact, I had to attend another talk show, Bangla One, with Ms. Hasina in her Table Talk UK. That's why I disappeared, So my apology for that. I believe that Dr. Saber Ahmed Chowdhury, our beloved Rieta Rahman Appa, seeing her after a long interval. Of course, my best regards to her and our beloved Farhad Hossain, whom we often interact, and of course, Barrister, former police super Zillur Rahman, for his eloquent speech. And after all said and done, I would say that the more we talk, the more we come up with reasons that will enhance democratic environment in Bangladesh. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, viewers, we are about to end this talk show, and before that, I have to summarize all these things because here the 5 speakers are here. All of them are very much enlightened, and they can talk on so many things, so many issues, hours after hours. But time is measured all the time because life is short. And it is known to all that the discussion took place here related to Bangladesh and post-electoral landscapes. And all of the speakers here are of the same mood and mode that Bangladesh is faced with a tremendous crisis, dilemmas, challenges. And how can these challenges be overcome? We don't know. It is up to the party in power, that is Party in power means through 12 election to the 12th parliament, a new government has been installed and under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And it is believed she will be in a position to overcome the situation. If she is not in a position to face the consequences in a challenging mood and mode, like a Herculean jihad, it is a very tough position for Bangladesh in the coming days. And let us hope, whatever it is, right and wrongs, immaterial. We would like to see Bangladesh is on the right track, on the path to development, on the path to democracy. And for democracy, definitely space should be needed. I must agree with Professor Dr. Saber. Space, accommodation, reconciliation. I agree with Zillur Rahman. Accommodation, space, must. I agree with Rieta Rahman. Without space and accommodation, there can be no democracy. I also agree with Professor Kalimullah, a volcanic voice in the talk show. Sometime he made such a comments, we started shuddering. And I also congratulate Professor Farhad Hossain, although he belongs to Awami League, but most of the time he speaks very freely, frankly, and he put forward his logic in a very concerted manner. Maybe that is right or wrong, immaterial thing, but he can put the thesis. That is the first victory for Farhad Hossain, and Awami League should be grateful to Farhad Hossain also, because he's fighting all the time for Awami League. Right or wrong doesn't matter, but he is a fighter. And from now on, I must say, he is a fighter for Awami League. And thank you very much. I will meet you again very soon. Thank you very much.